I've got 5:30, so we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. It's now time to call our meeting of the Bullitt County Board of Commissioners to order. I'd like to welcome the media and visitors. I'd also like to remind everyone to silence their cell phones and other devices so that we may conduct the people's business without interruption. Since Mr. Rushing is not here, I'm going to ask Commissioner Connor if he'll lead us in prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Please. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for today that you give us. Thank you for a place to come to conduct business for the good of the people of this county, Lord. Lord, thank you, and have everything we do here, Lord, be an emblem of you. Lord, we ask for the ones overseas, the ones here at home that protect, keep us safe, fight for our freedom, Lord. Lead us and guide us in everything we do, be an emblem of you. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Miss Mitzi White, will you call the roll of the commissioners, please?
I, Venus Mitzi White, present as clerk of the Board of Commissioners of Bullitt County, hereby call the roll for those on the governing body. All those present shall answer by saying aye. Chairman David Bennett.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Anthony Simmons.
Aye.
Commissioner Ray Mosley.
Aye.
Commissioner Toby Connor.
Aye.
Commissioner Nick Newkirk. Commissioner Timmy Rushing. And Commissioner Ray Davis.
Aye.
I've determined that we have 6 members of the Board of Commissioners present. Therefore, we have a quorum to conduct business for the good of the citizens of Bullitt County. I now yield the floor back to you, Chairman.
Thank you. Now we get to do some fun stuff. I understand there's some basketball players here. A few of them. If y'all would meet me up front here. Y'all get up here and act like you like each other. So we've got the Portal Panthers basketball team up here with their coach, Mr. Jeff Brandon. And I'm gonna let Coach Brandon talk about what they did this year.
Okay. This year was a fun year. We finished 26-6. From the year before, we only won 12 games. And these guys bought in at the end of the year, and we got better with each game. And they worked hard. It's still a young group. We've got 2 seniors and 6 juniors, 3 sophomores, so we're still young. A lot of community support. We played 3 games at home in the playoffs. Then we played in the Final Four and beat Washington Wilkes in Fort Valley. Then we played Clinch County at Macon Coliseum for the championship. We didn't play as well, but we had a great year. You know, we had a great year. I'm so proud of the guys and the coaches. Coach Harvey Williams, Coach T.J. Busby, Coach James Thomas, Coach Hugh Williams, and of course me. The guys, they bought in and they worked hard. Anything, you know, a lot of teamwork. We say teamwork makes the dream work. You know, we're super proud of them.
I don't know if y'all know, but Commissioner Davis used to be the basketball coach at Portal High School. I think that was still when they had old lamps. But he said he was willing to take y'all on a 3-point contest if anybody would take him up on it. So I'm gonna read this proclamation and we're gonna take a couple pictures. The Portal High School boys basketball team had a historic 2026 season, reaching the GHSA Class A Division II State Championship game for the first time since 1957. And Portal wrapped up the season with a 26-6 record, earning the title of state runner-up. This marked the program's first appearance in a state championship game since 1957. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Bullitt County Board of Commissioners recognize the Portal High School boys basketball team and congratulate them on their achievement and wish them the very best of luck in future seasons. signed the Commissioners of Bullock County. Y'all set the record for the most people I've had up here at one time, so you're gonna all have to come in here real close together and act like you like each other. I'm gonna get the commissioners to stand up in the back. Dal's gonna come
I
up
still
here.
in stool.
You want me to hold this like this?
No,
I
I gotta stay this far back just to get everybody in.
That's okay.
No, Toby said he needed a stool still.
You hope.
Trying to get everybody's face in the shot. Let's see.
Missing a few of them now.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Congratulations, guys. Good luck next year.
All right. Anybody else want to talk?
Anybody else? Kobe, you wanna talk? All right, thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Please do.
Thank you. Thank you. So next up, we got some folks from Public Works here. We couldn't get them all here. They'd take up the whole room. But y'all go ahead and come up here when you get them up. That's right. So, y'all don't know, this is National Public Works Week. We've got some folks from Public Works up here. I'm gonna let Mr. Mitch get up here and talk for a minute, because I know how much he loves it. So, tell us something good.
Well, I'm just proud of all of my help. They do a great job. They work hard. I appreciate everybody recognizing as first responders. We try to do our best to keep the county going as we can. I want to thank Ms. Stephanie, because she's the one that heads all this up.
Okay.
She heads up everything for us. And, other than that, we try to keep everybody going as we can.
All right. Well, I just want to thank y'all. I know y'all had some huge challenges over the last few years, between storm cleanups, snowstorms, power outages, trees that just fall on the road in the middle of the night, I'm pretty sure the aliens come down sometimes and knock them down when they're trying to steal cows. But whatever it is, y'all are there and you make things happen. I can't tell you the number of times I get an email about somebody called in the middle of the night, said a tree was down in the middle of the road. And before they could get back out there to go see about the tree, make sure nobody was gonna crash into it, the tree was gone because y'all had somebody on call that come pick it up, take care of it. I know y'all got some big changes coming for us here in the future as far as solid waste and other things. We're really excited about some of that. And we look forward to see what y'all bring to us in the future. So this proclamation says Public Works professionals form an infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Bullock County. And the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Be it now, therefore be it resolved that the Bullock County Board of Commissioners do hereby designate the week of May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join the representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies and activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing quality of life for all. Ms. Rose, Stephanie, if y'all got anything you want to say?
Monday, May 18th of our Public Works Week is our 4th annual Touch a Truck at the Ag Arena. So make sure you come out. All our first responder partners will be there with their trucks and everything for everyone to check out. 3 to 7 at the Ag Arena.
Okay.
And candy for the kids.
I just want to take a minute to thank all the ones that work underneath me. They're out there day in, day out in the storm. On the top of those trucks, collecting the garbage and getting rid of it. It just don't disappear. There's a lot of work that goes in behind it. And they work really hard, especially when we're out a number of people. It puts a lot more than the other ones, and they step up to it and do what needs to be done.
And the final thing that I will ask is a favor from everybody in the community. When you see these folks out working, they're grading the road, working on the side of the road to get limbs up and debris, at the collection centers trying to pick up trash, whatever it is, please give them some space so that they can do their job safely and they can make it home to their families. Thank you all for everything that you do every day. Appreciate y'all. Oh, we forgot to get a picture.
Here we go. There we go.
All right, one more. Captain Johnson, I'm gonna ask you to come up here with your folks. And I'm gonna get out of the way and let you talk.
How y'all doing? So every year we have a little get together with our department, and we take that time to honor some of our members of our department. So we have a few of them here tonight. We have a couple more that weren't able because of work, but over here, so our volunteer staff, we have our Mike, our company officer of the year, Mike Russian, and then firefighter of the year with our volunteer staff right here, Mr. Trey England. And then on the career side, we have Miss Pat Jones right here. She received our Chiefs Award. Miss Pat's been with us now for 4 years. 4 years. She does a lot for our department, and I think she's actually retiring this year, so gonna miss her and very appreciative of everything she's done for us. We're gonna use her till she's gone. Captain Ren Hill, he's our career officer of the year. This year, he's put in a lot of work. He's been with us 1 year next week. So, since he's come from Savannah, he's done a lot of great things for us, so we're glad to have him. And then, Alexa Louder, she is FAO, Fire Apparatus Operator of the Year for us. So she's come a long way. She's been here 2 years. She's come a long way, put in a lot of work, and we're extremely proud of her. And so just want to take this time. We appreciate y'all allowing us to come up and kind of celebrate this moment with them and recognize them. So thank y'all.
Thank you. So I asked Chief Tapley if he would, well, they had their firefighter banquet last weekend before. And they listed all these folks, had them come on the stage. I just say that of the years. But the honorees that are here today, this is about half of them. There's a few more as well. But I felt it was important that we not just recognize them amongst their peers, but amongst the community as well. Our fire department has made some huge steps over the last year to improve the overall safety in this community. I'm very proud of what they've done while they're here. And I'm very proud of the steps they've taken and where they're going in the future. Thank y'all for everything you do for this community every day, and thank you for your hard work that you put in. And I just want to say how much we appreciate what y'all do. So we're gonna get another picture. Everybody just stand by, snuggle up real close like you like each other.
Chief Catholic orders for me to get. Take a bunch. Make sure I got at least one with everybody's eyes open.
Thank you. So I still got some folks standing up in the back. If y'all want to sit down, there's plenty of seats up here. We're gonna be here for a while tonight. So first thing we're gonna do is we have a public hearing here on the consideration of a resolution to impose a temporary moratorium on the acceptance of residential and planned unit development applications. And I'm gonna call for a motion to open the floor to public comments. Second. I got a motion from Mr. Connor and a second from Mr. Simmons. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously, so we will open the floor to public comments.
We have Mr. Frank Bedell. Mr. Frank Bedell.
Good afternoon, commissioners, taxpayers. My name is Frank Bedell. I live in Brooklyn. I'm a small business owner and a taxpayer just like you. I came here today with a simple message on data centers in Bullitt County. N-O. No. Over the past few years, many of us have felt like this county has taken a financial hit. Higher costs, higher taxes, most uncertainty. Before beginning something new, like a large data center, we need answers. Anyone here today can explain what's going to happen with our aquifer when the mega plant wells are online fully operational. Not guesses, not projections, certainty. Because once the water is impacted, there is no easy fix. We're already discussing a projected deficit, possible rate increases to the taxpayers. So why are we studying, planning, and writing zoning for data centers when we should be stopping the bleeding? As a business owner, when the numbers do not work, you don't expand, you tighten your belt. Data centers are called development. But let's be honest, few long-term local jobs, very high power demands, significant water usage, direct and indirect. Takes more water to make more power. And real infrastructure strain. And that demand gets paid from somewhere. This isn't about data centers, it's about pattern. First spend, explain later, taxpayers cover the difference. That's not sustainable. If this is such a great deal, so why so many unanswered questions? If it's such a benefit, why are taxpayers the ones who take the risk? And if you don't know with certainty what it will do to our water, our budget, and our future, then you don't have enough to say yes. As a business owner, I've learned If you don't understand the full cost, you don't make the deal. This county is not a gamble. This aquifer is not a backup plan, and these taxpayers are not a blank check. Right now, you're not just discussing data centers, you're discussing direction, and direction matters. Because if you're already planning the runway, it's safe to say you plan on landing the plane. A moratorium is not protection, it's a pause. And a pause only matters if it leads to the right decision. So today, I give you 2 yeses and 1 no. Yes to the residential moratorium because our infrastructure is already strained. Yes to the data center moratorium because we clearly do not know the answers. But most importantly, no to data centers in Bullitt County. Not later, not after studies, and not after deals are lined up. No, because if we don't have a certainty on our water, if we're already facing budget pressure, and if the taxpayers are the ones carrying the risk, the answer is not complicated. It's a responsible one. N-O, no to data centers in Bullitt County. Thank you for your time.
I just want to clarify that, we're actually considering right now the moratorium on residential rezones. There's nobody else that has signed up to speak. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak at this time about a moratorium on residential rezones? So hearing none, the thing I'm gonna do is call for a motion to close public comments on the moratorium on residential rezones.
Second.
So I got a motion from Mr. Simmons and a second from Mr. Connor. All in favor of closing the floor to public comments? Motion carries unanimously. Is there any discussion from the commissioners on this issue? Hearing none, I'm gonna call for a motion.
Motion to continue in the moratorium.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion from Mr. Connor and a second from Mr. Newkirk.
Can I clarify, Mr. Chairman, is that to adopt the resolution that's in your package to continue the moratorium? I'm assuming, I mean, it sets out,
I thought we was more or less putting this, keep continuing with the moratorium.
that's correct. That's what the resolution does.
That's what we're doing. We're
Okay.
adopting. So to
Okay.
clarify, we're adopting.
Adopting the resolution.
Thank you. Okay, so the motion has been, brought to the floor and it's been seconded. Any discussion on this item? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is consideration of a resolution to impose a temporary moratorium on the permitting of data centers in unincorporated Bullitt County. I'm gonna call for a motion to open the floor up to public comments. Do I have a second? Got a motion from Mr. Simmons and a second from Mr. Newkirk. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. We'll open the floor up to public comment at this time.
We have Molly. Is it Maggie? Okay.
Hi, my name is Molly Nagy, and I want to thank you all for taking the time to step back to look at what data centers involve. I appreciate that because in our country, there are people who are waking up to the construction of data centers and finding their water milky or brown. I guess my fear So I'm very grateful to have the chance to talk. Obviously, I support a moratorium on data centers. I was a little more optimistic because I was under the impression that you all were trying to make it hard financially to, for one to come here. I'm just being honest. My notes, I couldn't print them out, so I'm just going from what I thought I had. So, in the language, I'm concerned about a few things like that that there's almost a leaning toward it being a necessary part of our modern life. I think we're undergoing something very unusual. The commandeering of our public waterways for private companies. I mean, I think the staff is probably, because of how the ordinance is written, I'm sure that it has been looked into, all these different issues, the noise, the fact that you can see some data centers from 6 miles away, and some people are not able to see the stars anymore. So we need to really look at what these are. I'm very passionate about this. I do live in the area about 10 miles. I would be sandwiched between two. And I'm a wildlife rehabilitator. I have a baby bird in my car. It's a woodpecker. And I have picked ducks off the road because they've been looking for water in our county. And we have a water crisis. We're looking, another trend, I saw the word trend. Another trend is that local governments and state governments are telling people to conserve water, and at the same time attracting these monstrous water users. I mean, they use I think it's bigger than Hyundai. So I think that my biggest fear is we're going to go down the same route with Hyundai, and because of Georgia Power's already set this up, all this stuff is in motion, and that even if an auditorium of people come here, you will still, from some pressure, have to go along with this, okay? So I just want to say that I would support a longer moratorium because it looks like this moratorium will end around the holidays. So I would even support this is happening so fast, I think that there will be a chance to know more in a year about what exactly is happening to our country. Because I think, okay, but before I run out of time, I want to say that if you do have an ordinance, I would like to see someone from the environmental side of things talk about the closed loop system, because and I will send the name of the woman that I read about. You have someone there that's from Kitos who is an AI industry consultant. You need someone on the other side too. She debunked the closed loop system. I think our aquifers are threatened by this because she said that biocide and corrosive materials splash back into the aquifer. I think we're looking at possibly the biggest poisoning of our wells across the country in our history. And I wasn't planning to get really passionate, but I am passionate about this because I feel there's more than just, I'm off grid, so I'm not a ratepayer. I know that that's one issue. The water is an issue, and they're calling it national security, but it may not be known that they have a lot of military contracts. They're considered military targets in other regions. You would be putting 4 military installations in our county. And obviously I want the moratorium, but I think I would like some of those issues to be looked into. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Frank Davis.
Chairman Bennett, commissioners, I'm going to take a little different perspective. I think we all need more data on data centers, okay? I think it's the bottom line. The state with the most data centers right now in the world, entire world, is Virginia, with 566. Understand definition of what's a data center. There's not a universal definition, but Virginia has the most at 566. Georgia is actually number 5 in our country at 195. Okay, so we already have most of them around the Atlanta, Macon region. The bottom line is how data centers are governed will determine whether communities benefit from the digital economy or bear the brunt of its risks. There are a lot of places that have really bared the brunt, but there are a lot of lessons learned out there. And I think with the right structure, and by the way, there's already a draft out there that's on the County Commission Facebook page, and that James has placed out there. I think everybody needs to look at that. I think he has a lot of good ideas, and I think he's spot on. Some of the challenges, I'm going to just hit you 5 challenges, and I'm going to be quiet. One of the bigger challenges up in Virginia with the most is NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. They actually did a survey of the last 31, and 80% of the last 31 data centers, there are NDAs between the developers and the commissioners. I don't think that would fly very well in this community. I think transparency is huge. And there was probably some financial benefit to the NDAs, but I think we need to be, I think being transparent is huge. And data centers do use a significant amount of energy, but we've already heard from Georgia Power, and I think it's critical that the data center bears the entire cost, not only for construction of the increased infrastructure, but also if there is a downsizing of the data center 3 to 5 years later, and Georgia Power addressed that with a 20 to 30 year bond, so that we're not stuck in case the bubble bursts and the data centers go away and everybody worries what's going to happen with AI. In case that happens, I don't think the community should have to share that burden. And I think it can be managed and with a 20 to 30 year bond. Increased water usage, yes, but square foot wise, it's less than what the Hundy plants require. And with the closed loop system, and that is in James' initial draft, the water usage is significantly less. And I think, I can't imagine a 500,000 square foot data center here in Bullitt County. I think it would probably be significant smaller than that. And I think there's plenty of water there for that. It'd be a pivot or so, maybe 2 pivots at the most, but it'd be less than what we're selling to the Hundy plant. Noise mitigation, and there are ways around the noise mitigation, and he actually had 60 decibels in the proposal, which I think is very reasonable. And one thing that is hard to address is land competition, concern for accelerated loss of farmland. But he actually has an overlay of the different areas of the county that may be appropriate, and I think everybody needs to look at that. And these areas may be a good recommendation. There's always a balanced trade-off here. Potential to generate significant revenue for the county. Everybody worries about increase in property taxes. At the same time, we must weigh the economic benefits against the long-term public costs. But there are a lot of lessons learned out there, and if it's done right, I think the county can benefit significantly from the data centers. But it's going to require significant knowledge, and therefore I think continuing the moratorium to the end of the year would make sense to allow our government leadership team to become more knowledgeable, to share that knowledge with the members of Bullitt County, the citizens of Bullitt County. And again, with the lessons learned, I think it can be done in a manner in which would benefit the county from a tax revenue base and still not destroy the environment. And I think at this point, the moratorium would give us more time to study the environment, have more public information meetings, and thank you.
Mr. Frank Bedell, did you have any further comments? That's it. Sure.
Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak at this time? You come on up to the microphone, please.
My name is John Smith. I'm a citizen of Bullitt County. Been here about 40 years. I'm a small business owner also. And my business is out by the airport. Been there almost 30 years now. And I just found out about this yesterday. And I'm not really educated. I didn't sign up to speak because I'm not educated on this stuff, but I will be before this next meeting more. My concern is I was shown a map yesterday where this location is that they were planning to put this out on 301 North, which is less than a mile from where I'm at. And I went on the county website. Maybe I couldn't, it's there and I didn't see it, but there's very little information about it, about any of this. And y'all need to do a better job of putting it out there for the citizens. We need to see what's going on so we can come and speak to you and how we feel. And I can't really do that today because I don't know. I came to get education to learn about this and hadn't really learned much of anything except how people feel about it. Just do a better job of letting us know, posting it. I don't do Facebook, but I can get on the county webpage and let us know. And like I said, my business, I've been out there 30 years, and I can tell you, I don't want this thing out there around me or my family. And so let's do a better job if we can. And I know you can. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak at this time? Any discussion with the commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, I've received, Lord, I hate to tell you how many phone calls about this over the past 3 weeks. This resolution's fine and all, and it will prolong it, and we can do some more studying on it. We can eat up more time, James having to put another load on his plate to deal with. The general conception is with all this, first of all, we don't have a footprint in Bullitt County to house one of these things. There's not one. It's kind of like a landfill. If everybody thought it was a good idea, they thought it was a good idea not to be by their house. So this general conception that we've been forced into things before, and nobody's forcing our hand on this one. I don't think we should even go on with the moratorium. I just think we ought to put a flat no on it and be done with this. We got time to do that. Now I'll put that in a motion when everybody else gets done talking if you want me to. But I know somebody else has got to talk. What you got for me? I'm wrong, Andrew Jeff.
No. I just wanted to clarify that if you don't want to allow them at all, that's probably going to may require an amendment to the zoning ordinance. Okay. We're going to need to study that a little more carefully. I mean, you can make an argument that they're not allowed now under the zoning ordinance. So is the moratorium really necessary? But I don't think we need to decide that tonight. If you want to extend the moratorium, that would give us more time to study that as well.
How long would you need to extend it?
Well, if you adopt this resolution that I prepared, it'll extend it to the end of the year, or if a zoning ordinance amendment is made relating to data centers, that would end the moratorium as well. But it basically would give you to the end of the year to decide what you want to do.
That's a long time.
How long would it take just to say no to them and do the zoning amendment like you needed?
Well, again, it's going to require a zoning ordinance amendment. So I don't think you can just vote and say we don't want any data. We'll need to prepare an amendment. I mean, that's something we need to look at the zoning ordinance. James, do you have anything you want to say on that?
No, other than from the time we put in the application to the time y'all hear it takes about a little over 2 months, maybe 3 months. So assuming we got the language that would hold up in court, then we could bring it back or bring it to y'all for approval if that's what you want to do. But
right. I mean, the zoning ordinance basically is structured that if a use is not
mean, I thought
allowed
we
as a
put the
permitted
moratorium to
use or
start with, we didn't
conditional
have no
use.
zoning for it.
Uh,
I thought that's why we put the moratorium on to start with, because we didn't have no zoning for it.
Right, but if it's not allowed in the zoning ordinance, then it's a prohibited use. It's prohibited. That's what the zoning ordinance says. Now, one reason I think we'll need to amend it, there is a provision there for cryptocurrency mining operations, which is a type of a data center. So that's going to have to be addressed. I mean, all I'm saying is, I think the moratorium, I think you probably want to extend it based on what I'm hearing, because we're going to have to look at the zoning ordinance one way or the other.
Right.
Okay. That's
So
all
y'all
I'm
can
saying.
y'all can have that done by what, next meeting,
The next meeting,
James? Next meeting?
I do as the board says. So.
Well, it's
Yeah.
got to go through the
Yeah,
planning
but
commission,
it's-
right?
of
The
course,
whole
I mean-
process.
it's
Yeah.
got to go through the zoning process, so it'd have to
Oh,
go
it's
to
still got,
planning
okay,
and zoning.
okay, excuse me.
So it's not the
That's
next
why he
meeting.
was saying 2 months. It's got to go through the planning commission, just like.
We can't say we did and ask forgiveness later.
We're gonna do that here for another issue in a minute.
Oh,
I'd
no,
rather not
because
do
it
it
We
again.
have them issues, it seems like all the time.
If you did an amendment that didn't comply with the Zoning Procedures Act, it wouldn't be valid.
Before we get too far into this, Venus just told me that we didn't have a motion to close the floor, so I need to get a motion to close the floor to public comments.
So move.
Yeah, Mr. Connor and Mr. Newkirk, all in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. So, I do have a letter here that I want to enter as, an exhibit from Coastal Communities United speaking out against data centers as well. And that will be available with the minutes, so you can review it at your leisure. To add to this discussion, I'll just go back and provide some perspective on what's been going on here. You know, about 3 or 4 months ago, after seeing a lot of talk about data centers, hearing about this all over the state, hearing discussion from other legislators, other county commissioners and things, I felt like this was something that we needed to address in our community. The one thing that I did not want to see happen was somebody show up here and say, hey, we want to put a data center in Bullock County, and we didn't have any kind of planning or zoning ordinances available or anything to protect the people that were already here. And that's why I went about asking for this moratorium. The intent was not to try to sneak in a data center. And I will tell you officially on the record yet again that Bullock County has not had any kind of discussion, either through the Development Authority or otherwise, with anyone about putting a data center in Bullock County. The intent here was purely to look at what's coming on the horizon and be strategic and try to figure out what can we do now to be proactive so that when this is sitting at our door, we don't have our backs against the wall. I can tell you right now that after probably a good 6 months of research on this, I don't have all the answer on data centers. Now, I will go on the record and tell you that I don't think that they're the boogeyman that they are made out to be on social media. And I will also be the devil's advocate and lay out the other side of this issue. If you have a developer that is willing to come to Bullock County and they say, I want to buy 150 acres of land anywhere in the county that you tell me where to put it, and I will buy land and I will make that land worth $20 billion. Billion dollars. No, I will not create a lot of jobs, but you have a county where your schools are already full and your roads are already full. But I'm going to bring a piece of property in this county that when we get done building on it will be worth $20 billion that you will then tax for property taxes at 40% of the value. And people say, well, that doesn't benefit me. Well, I beg to differ with you, because that does benefit you, because that brings in more tax revenue to this county, which means that we don't need to charge the average taxpayer as much money. Now, I can also tell you that what I do know is that Georgia Power and the power companies have made some adjustments to the way they're doing business with these data centers. And now they're requiring them to take out a bond before they go and they do anything for them, to say you're going to be there for 15 years. And if you don't have that bond in place, they won't even talk to you about bringing power to your location. They won't even do a study on what your requirements are going to be until you put that bond up front. And it's not a small amount of money. We're talking millions of dollars for this bond. And when they do that, they're also now requiring, if there is improvements that need to be made to the infrastructure, the power companies are requiring these developers to pay for those things as well. Do I have all the answers to what they use as far as water? No. But I can tell you that what everybody's going to is a closed loop cooling system that uses a fraction of the water that everybody's talking about is being used in the data centers that were built 5 and 10 years ago. So, and I can tell you that as the chairman and as a commissioner, you know, I was voted in to look at both sides of every issue. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I look at any kind of data that I can get, and I'll talk to anybody that will listen or share information with me about this. I still don't have all the answers. Tomorrow, some of the staff, myself, Mr. Simmons, and Mr. Mosley are going to be taking a trip up to go look at a data center in Social Circle. We're also going to go to Columbia County and talk to their county manager and hopefully a couple of their commissioners about what they're doing up there with data centers so we can get even more information. I've talked to the river keepers about this, and I will tell you that when you talk to Damon Mullis, the Ogeechee River Keeper, just like he said in this meeting or in this chamber at our last meeting, or excuse me, a month ago, he said, I don't think that you can make it to where you can't get a data center here. But he did say that you could do some things now to make it to where they minimize the impact on the people here. So am I for a data center or against it? I'm leaning toward no still, because I just don't know. But I can also tell you that I'm willing to listen to what's going on. And we have to consider this. The whole point of this is not, again, to some secret data center deal behind closed doors. It's just, hey, we need to figure out what's going on. And we don't want somebody to put one of these in here or try to bring one while we're trying to figure out what's going on. If this board, if they make a decision that they just want to say, hey, we're going to make a zoning amendment that says we're not going to have a data center, well, guess what? We're not going to have a data center in Bullitt County. It's that simple. But the intent of this moratorium is to protect the people of this county until we can figure out what's going on, plain and simple. There's nothing else to this than that. With that being said, is there any other discussion from the commissioners? Mr. Davis.
I'd like to bring forward 3 points. One is electricity. Now, if a data center comes here, it's got to have a lot of electricity. So they have to bring this electricity to this data center. Now, it's hard enough as a commissioner to tell people what they can do with their land through a rezone. But through eminent domain, and I don't know if that would come before us, Mr. Jeff, but that's a very difficult situation. Number 2 is water. Once you pull that water out of that aquifer, whether it's Ray Davis's irrigation unit or it's a well that's in the aquifer 500-600 foot deep, you can't put it back. They're already in the red zone in southwest Georgia, and there are permits that require them to shut down pumping water when it gets into the red zone. So we're back to pulling water out of the aquifer. The third point is the money that it would bring in to lower the taxes. Is it worth it? Would it be worth it? Mr. Chairman, I think Mr. Connor made a motion.
So I believe the motion was to approve the moratorium.
No, we ain't got a date. I don't want to go to the first year with it.
Okay.
I don't want to go that long with it. I understand to what
Well-
Mr. Jeff's saying there.
Okay, but if you read the resolution, all right, let me just read it real quick. It would extend the moratorium until the earliest date of December 31st, 2026. Approval by the commissioners of an extension to the moratorium. And this is the key thing, the effective date of the adoption and enactment by the commissioners of an amendment to the Bullitt County zoning ordinance that addresses data centers. So that's the date. You could do that 2 or 3 months from now, as long as we meet the Zoning Procedure Act requirements, and that would be the end of the moratorium. This is just giving you time. I mean, let's say for some reason whatever it takes 3 months or it takes 4 months. Well, this moratorium would still be in place. until you do that. Does that make sense? Okay.
Well, it makes sense. I read it. I know what you're saying, but as I read it, it was that was going to be the next appointed time was the 31st of December or whatever, that date was. But okay, but if we can do something about it anytime.
Right, it's the earliest of those times, so if you adopt you don't have to leave it in place till December 31st. If you want to go ahead and amend the zoning ordinance to allow them or to prohibit them, you can do that as soon as we could get it through the zoning process.
Can we go ahead and do the moratorium and then go ahead and start on the process, the paperwork of what Mr. Connor talked about? Abandoning them? Start that immediately?
That's what y'all want to do. I mean, is that the consensus of the board?
I could vote on that now.
Well, how about we do this? Let's get a motion for a moratorium, and then if we need to, we'll do a second motion to pursue zoning against them.
I have a feeling it's the same way the Hyundai plant got started. I really do, which caused a lot of grief. But I'll make a motion for the moratorium as it says, as documented. As resolution.
Per the resolution. Do I have a second? Got Mr. Connor and Mr. Davis. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Now, would y'all like to pursue another motion with this?
Can we try to get it as early as possible, James? I mean, I know it took 2 months to whatever Jeff says the right way to do something.
Yeah, well, it's just like any other zoning ordinance amendment. It's got to go through planning and
Planning
zoning
zone back to
and then back to the commissioners. But is everybody you want?
I mean,
James,
I would
proceed
think
with
we need a majority of the commission to direct staff to pursue that.
Yeah, and that's why we probably need another motion if
All
you
right.
want to direct.
I'll make the motion to start that process.
Second.
Okay, and just to be clear, when you say start that process, are you talking about an amendment to prohibit data centers?
Yes.
Okay.
So the motion as it stands is to start the process to develop a zoning amendment to prohibit data centers in Bullitt County. Correct. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, I'm gonna call for a vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, that concludes our public hearings for this evening and brings us to the rest of the meeting here. Before I entertain a motion to move along to the zoning agenda, do we have any discussion or modification desired by the county manager or the board for the zoning agenda? Hearing none, I'm gonna call for a motion on this item. Got a motion to approve the agenda as is. I need a second, please. Got a motion from Mr. Mosley and a second from Mr. Simmons. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Mr. James Pope, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Agenda item number 1 tonight is a conditional use request to operate a family personal care home, which will be located at 115 Flintshire Way. Staff recommends denial of the conditional use. However, if approval is granted, staff recommends conditions which are contained in the staff report. And then the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval with the conditions by a 4-3 vote. And I did want to mention that the Planning and Zoning Commission also granted a variance to the applicant, which varied the minimum lot size required for a personal care home. And for the details of the case, this property is just less than 1 acre at 0.93 acres. Current zoning is Ag 5. General location is in western Bullock County, pretty much on the Candler County line, accessed off of McKelvin Pond Road, which just outside of the frame of this picture is Pulaski Highway. This is the parcel. It is within a planned subdivision, and which is on Ag 5, and area zoning for the properties again is Ag 5. And this is a property again with an aerial, just one single family residence on the property. Site plan that was provided by the applicant. Again, it does show the recreation area, which is required by the ordinance. And this is the property. At the time we placed the zoning public hearing signs on the property. And access to the home would be on a local paved street, again within the planned subdivision. Primary concerns for staff were mostly dealing with public safety and response to potential residents that would be there, which would be limited or up to 3 people as residents of the personal care home, and just for the structure as provided, it may be difficult to enter into the property, and if someone was ambulatory and had to come out of the house, just the structure was the primary concern. But we do have some conditions that might alleviate some of that concern. But with that, I will call Ms. Dawson to the podium.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
My name is Terry Ann Goodman Dawson, and I'm here to request your grace in approving, in a final approval for my personal care home that I would like to open. I would like to start by just giving you a little bit of insight about who I am. Again, my name is Terry Ann Goodman Dawson. I am a native of Statesboro, all the way from my elementary school all the way up to graduating from Statesboro High. I went on to pursue a degree, my undergrad degree, my master's degree, all while serving as a government contractor in Afghanistan as well as in Iraq. I'm also a current doctoral student at Georgia Southern for public health, just dealing with this, just to give just a little bit more insight and a little bit weight of my dedication to being able to serve the underprivileged. In addition to my education, I've also been a serial entrepreneur. I've been featured in Forbes, Black Enterprise, and Yahoo Finance, just to name a few, just to give a little background of my leadership abilities. I've been in this industry for over a decade, along with my mother. I'm also the director of our day center just down the street on Northside Drive at Southern Hospitality Adult Day Health Agency. I'm also the director of her CLA personal care home as well. And I just wanted to kind of give you an insight of my expertise in this industry and my dedication. I've also had, with that being said, I've also have a extensive background in dealing with the state of Georgia and being able to pass with flying colors, might I add, state audits in as far as with on the state level. All of the concerns that were brought forth by not necessarily by Mr. Pope, but by the staff. Okay, yeah, by the staff are addressed just like he mentioned previously. And I was granted a conditional approval from my last hearing. And I have made significant advances towards making sure that I have all of the requested amendments and conditions that were set forth for me, and I have them here if you all would like to see. And I humbly request your grace and your final acceptance of my partnership in making a better and bigger bullet for not just everyone, but especially our elders. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, Ms. Sherry Grant, if you have some comments.
Yes. So, with what she said, we basically have this down pat. We've been doing this for many years now. We've never had any call-ins. We've never had anyone to wander, no one to leave the facility from my group home or personal care home or to the day center. Our inspections has passed. We've done everything. We've dotted all the I's, crossed all the T's. Far as acceptability to the home that's on Flintshire, we feel as though if it's a problem for the emergency services to get out just for our people, it would also be the same for all the other residents in that area. So I don't really see sort of a concern with that because there is other people out there that would need these same services if it may be. So
I would also just like to add that in addition to just the accessibility for any emergency response teams, I have also made the initiative of cutting away most of the trees there. I've also have estimate as well as a paid deposit to where I'm on the books to get the fence so that I can have more control on the access of being in and out of the property. And just a little tidbit. I know that this is Bullock County, and all due respect, just not even a very short mile. Just like you mentioned, we're just on the county line. So over in Candler County, when we first started this business, we were in the same exact type of setup and by the state of Georgia, again, respectfully to Bullock County, no pun intended, but we were approved with no problems, and we went off with just with a hitch. And even then, we didn't even have that paved road as what we do now. So I just wanted to add that tidbit also.
Anybody speaking against this? Okay. There's nobody that signed up to speak against this or anything like it that y'all would like to add at this time?
No.
Okay. Commissioners, do y'all have any questions or comments? So hearing none, I'm gonna call for a motion on this item.
Move to approve with conditions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I got a motion to approve with conditions from Mr. Simmons. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Mr. Connor. All in favor? All opposed? Oh, never mind. Motion carries unanimously.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Chairman, if you're all right, I'll proceed.
That's fine. Thank you.
Agenda item 2 is a conditional use request to operate an automotive repair business by applicant is Ricky Cangetter. The property is located on Ash Branch Church Road, and Nick McCall will serve as the agent. Staff recommends approval of the conditional use request, and we do have conditions in the staff report for consideration. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval with conditions by unanimous 6-0 vote. Property details, I'll go through that real quick. The total acreage for the lot is 3.78. It's a zoned highway commercial property, and the proximity to the interstate interchange is, well, that general area is zoned highway commercial, so it is in a transition area from highway commercial to residential, but this property is zoned highway commercial. Ash Branch Church Road at the intersection of I-16 is just to the south of that interchange. As you see here, the parcel is highlighted in blue with the zoning overlay showing Ag 5 to the south and then highway commercial for the remaining neighboring properties. There's an aerial of the property. There is a pond on the property, which the site plan anticipates moving that pond for drainage control, stormwater control. Then this is the site plan of the property. This application did receive, I believe, 2 variances by the Planning and Zoning Commission related to access, which would allow for access on Ash Branch Church Road and the 2 access points. No access would be on Newtown Road, which is a county maintained road to the south. And this is the property as it currently in its current state when we place the signs here for the zoning public hearing. This is facing north, just to I-16. You can kind of see it in the background, and this is facing south along Ash Branch Church Road. And with that, I'll ask Mr. Nick McCall if he'll approach the podium.
Thank you, James. Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. Like James said, this is a proposed auto body shop in Bullock County. It's right off I-16. Great access to the site. The shop's gonna be a pretty nice shop. There's planning for it to be air conditioned, so majority of the time the bay doors are gonna be closed. It's also gonna be screened with an existing tree buffer from Ash Branch Church Road, so it won't be seen from the road. Development will meet all Bullock County stormwater ordinances and development ordinances. We do plan on reconfiguring the existing storm pond for stormwater management. We are using a private well and septic system, and it's in compliance with the Bullock County Comprehensive Plan, so it's in line with what we plan to come to this area.
Okay. Nobody signed up to speak for this, but I do have a message that was sent to the commissioners from Miss Emily Jessup, and she says that she is strongly opposed to this rezone. I'm gonna enter this into evidence, and it'll be on the minutes for everyone to review.
Commissioner, you said they're strongly opposed to the rezone?
That's correct.
This is for a conditional use.
I'm sorry, for conditional use.
Okay.
Any comments or discussion from the commission? Mr. Davis?
Staff has 13 conditions. Are you accepting all 13?
As it reads in the packet that was presented for this meeting, yes, sir. They're mostly building frontages and facades and architectural requirements.
Mr. Nelson, is that going to be an issue with that entrance so close to the Newtown Road? Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'm gonna call for a motion on this item.
Motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion to approve from Mr. Davis and a second from Mr. Mosley. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Do you need this letter back?
You can keep it.
Okay.
Mr. Pope, whenever you're ready.
All right. Agenda item number 3 is a condition modification request. And I'll go ahead and say that this agenda item and the following, which is agenda item number 4, is pertains to the same property. And just to kind of, I guess, walk the commission through this, condition modification is a request to modify conditions that were placed on the property with a decision of May 8th, 2019, of which condition number 1 stated that the primary or the principal use of the property would be for storage units. And so to really modify the use based on how the conditional use or the conditions read, the applicant has to really ask the board to modify condition 1 to allow for a true permitted use where, you know, they could do that without having to come back and ask for permission to do that land use. But then what we're suggesting is to add additional language in there that says if additional uses are provided or approved by the Board of Commissioners through a conditional use process, which is what agenda item 4 is, that it essentially unlocks that ability for the property. So I try not to say too much because it got confusing in planning and zoning, but the general location of the property, and I'll just go through some of the details for you, but it's just to the west of Brooklet on US Highway 80. And again, as I stated, the condition 1 really locks in the use for the property for storage units, like a mini storage warehouse. And so it does say that you have to come back to the Board of Commissioners to modify the conditions. This is the property. This is looking towards Brooklet or east to Brooklet on Highway 80. And this would be looking west to Statesboro. And so really this case is just, again, stating that if this would allow agenda item 4 to move forward, where you'll hear the merits of the case on that, which is for a multifamily development. So it's probably not very clear. I don't know if Mary wants to, Mary, do you have anything to kind of add on that? Again, well, I'll just ask, does the commission have, we can start with questions. Y'all have any questions I can try and clarify? So if you approve what we suggest the condition modification to go to, it would allow for any conditional use to come to you all, and you give an additional approval for that use. Without this, they're locked into the storage unit use. Is, I guess, the best way I can say it.
So they're just trying to remove the conditional use so they can build multifamily, right? Plain and simple. Get rid of that, then they can come back and then they want to do multifamily. Is that what you're trying to do?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. But yeah, it's fair. It's a procedural process that would allow them to open up consideration for additional uses.
So you're trying to remove the warehouse condition so they can go to
multifamily.
Is that putting it plainly?
Right, to allow y'all to consider additional uses for the property.
So right now, the only thing they can do is storage units, and they just want to take that off, and then that will be done with that. So if they want to put a gas station there, they could put a gas station there because it's highway commercial. And then after that, the next one is to do the multi-family, right? Okay, so all we're doing is unlocking the storage units right now, not voting on a multifamily.
Correct.
Is there anybody here from the construction company?
Patrick Patton is the agent here for Mr. David Pageant.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. So, I don't know if this will help or make the water a little bit more muddy.
Try us
So,
anyway.
basically, we're trying to get rid of the storage unit and open it up to where there's many things in the zoning ordinance in section 802 that will allow it to come back before you guys as a use for highway commercial. But we can't do that now because it's simply lot 2 storage units. So I think that maybe makes it a little easier.
Okay. Is anybody son? Go ahead.
Okay. Cassandra Michael. Okay. Lisa Sykes. Okay.
Any other questions or comments on this? Hearing none, I'm gonna call for a motion on this item.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Got a motion
With
to,
conditions.
motion to approve with conditions from Mr. Connor and a second by Mr. Simmons. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, motion carries 4-1. Mr. Davis is in opposition. Moving on to number 4 there, Mr. Pope.
All right, maybe this one will be a little more straightforward. So agenda item 4 is a conditional use request by Pageant Construction, which the request is to develop multifamily or a multifamily development. The property is located at 19477 Highway 80 East. Again, Patrick Patton will be the agent tonight. Staff recommends approval of the conditional use with conditions, and then the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval with conditions by 4-2 vote. And I do have a site plan on this agenda item for consideration, but the lot for the request is 3.25 acres. It's currently zoned highway commercial, which multifamily development is, again, a conditional use in highway commercial zoning. So in some ways, similar zoning to what you would see in highway commercial areas. And so I've had questions of, with the moratorium in place, how did, multifamily development come before this board? So it's simply that it's a conditional use request, not a rezoning. And here we have the zoning map, a mix of zoning in the area, highway commercial, residential, and then a manufactured home park just to the south. So relatively higher density nearby. Again, the site as it presently sits, it's a vacant parcel. Again, in 2019 with plans to make it a true commercial development. Prior to that, it was zoned R3, which is a multifamily zoning. And the site plan provided by the applicant here shows several pods of multifamily, which will be single story if I'm remembering correctly. But access points would be on Cody Lane, which is just to the west of the development, which would access onto US Highway 80. And Planning and Zoning Commission did grant a variance for that access onto Cody Lane. Cody Lane does have a right turn lane when you're eastbound on Highway 80. So staff agreed with that variance for access onto Highway 80 or Cody Lane, excuse me. Pictures as I tried to show earlier. This is the property as it currently is. And again, these signs went on the property next to Highway 80. An area of property uses, you do have commercial zoning nearby, but also a mix of residential. And I'll leave it with a site plan there. And Mr. Patton, if you can come up to the podium.
Good evening again. So what we're trying to do is get a conditional use for this piece of property for multifamily off of Cody Lane. We'll have approximately 25 units, around 800 square foot single story units. Cody Lane has many zonings along that. There's everything from highway commercial, R80, R40, R2, and Ag 5. During our pre-application meeting, we met with the staff, fire department, got some feedback from the engineering. The city of Brooklet will actually be supplying the water to this location. We're going to incur the cost of running a 12-inch main to that location. We've agreed to put a fire hydrant at Highway 80 in Cody Lane and also at the second entrance of Cody Lane for our development. Now, that will also help the fire department as far as filling stations and shuttling water back and forth to other areas of that. Everything within 1,000 foot of that will now have fire coverage. These units will be septic and drain filled. There is not septic in that area. There may be in the future, but if you'll notice on that map, the dark shaded areas behind each unit is where the actual current septic systems will go. The blank spaces in between that will actually go for future issues that may be brought up or we have with those drain fields. We've got water retention in the front for this development. Next to unit 25, there's an area that we will have to, I guess, more for a recreational area or outdoor area. There's already a decel lane for Cody Lane. I think the largest one that's allowed by DOT standards. Landscaping will be done to meet all the criteria outlined in Bullitt County's ordinance. And we agree with the staff review. We appreciate the recommendation from the P&Z, the engineering and fire department. We appreciate everything they've done. And if you guys have any questions, I'll be glad to walk you through.
I think we got a couple folks that have signed up to speak.
Yes, sir.
Cassandra Michael.
Cassandra Michael. I am just here to say y'all just unanimously passed a moratorium against development, and to me, this goes against the spirit of that moratorium. And so I understand that Mr. Pope says that it's allowed as a conditional use, but I think in the spirit of like having this moratorium, y'all should continue and deny this unanimously. Thank you.
Miss Lisa Sykes. Lisa Sykes. Okay. That's it.
Any questions or comments on this item?
Is there any way to get access off of 80 and not Cody Lane? Because I know Cody Lane is barely a dirt road. I rode out there and looked at it today, and it's a very bunch of potholes, and I just know that road's going to get eat up real bad during the construction process. Do we have any solutions or anything for that possibly?
The property does have an existing driveway on or from Highway 80. Now, I don't know, as far as the GDOT permit process and what kind of full access they would have, that may be more in Ron's wheelhouse as county engineer, but
I guess my concern Because I guess also my concern is, you know, if it does pass, you know, the citizens are going to be paid. You know, the citizens are going to be the ones that have to pay for that road to get repaved, and you know, you got 26 septic tanks out there, concrete coming and going, and I feel very certain after looking at that road today, it's going to get eat up pretty bad. And I just don't think the citizens are to be paying for that to fix that. Whenever the development's the ones that's causing it.
Mr. Davis.
Do you already have a contract with the city of Brooklet for these taps in their water system?
Included originally with the paperwork submitted to or for our applications to Bullitt County.
But do you have a contract with the city of Brooklet for these taps?
I don't know. I believe we actually do. Yes, sir.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'm gonna call for a motion on this item.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve this, with conditions.
Mr. Simmons has made a motion to approve with conditions. Do I have a second? Going once.
Second.
Mr. Mosley's made a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion dies, 3-2. Do I have another motion on this item?
Motion to deny.
Okay. Got a motion to deny from Mr. Newkirk. Do I have another or a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Davis. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes 3-2. I believe that concludes our zoning agenda for the evening. Thank you, Mr. Pope. Before I entertain a motion to approve the general agenda, do we have any discussion or modification desired by the county manager or the board?
Yes, sir. I'd like to move, number 3, to new business. I just wanted, Ms. Mincy White to kind of explain that to the commission. It is a little bit different. We had just changed to Granicus, spent about $29,000 on implementation. I believe she can explain her rationale, and this would be going to a new provider for minutes and
Item
everything
number
else.
3 is going to new business. Any other issues that we'd like to move to new business? Number 3 and number 5 going to new business. Can I get a motion to approve the the consent agenda with the exception of item number 3 and 5, please? Got a motion or a motion from Mr. Mosley and a second from Mr. Connor. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. So let's do item number 3 first. I'll let you get caught up for a second.
I'm good.
Oh, yes, we absolutely do. At this time, I'll recognize those citizens who signed up to address the board. Once your name's called, come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and make your comments. All speakers who are recognized will be allotted 5 minutes.
You have Spencer Johnson.
My name is Spencer Johnson. I live in Porter. I would like to address something that happened last commissioner meeting. We have 2 chairmen that made it a motion and a second to pass the dirt road on Ponderosa Road. I would like to mention one of the commissioners that stated 2 conflict of interest. One, he stated his father lives on the road. Secondly, he stated that his wife has been in his ear for many years over this road, so it shows another intention of it being a conflict. For secondly, Mr. Mosley spoke up here twice for 10 to 15 minutes apiece. Not once did he mention that he lives on this road, and that is a major conflict of interest. So, with that being said, I think they hold a major conflict of interest and shouldn't be allowed to vote on the next one. Now, with that being said, the commissioners that I would like to make a vote, I would like for the citizens to still gain the proper attention that they need, because they have been neglected for 20 plus years from being able to go to church, being able to go to work and provide for their family, being able to get public service down their dirt roads to provide needs that they need in dire situations. So with that being said, please still show your care and concerns for the citizens. With the two most experienced commissioners making such a rookie mistake, I wondered for many years why this county has been in such shambles, and we're having problems with things, and the county citizens are having to pay, raise tax every year and having to make payments to improve. And now I have my reason. It's just the poor leadership that we are portrayed, showed. So I would like for all of you to kind of look into yourselves and do better. And I was told that this was not illegal. So I guess y'all's new motto is it's not illegal, but it's unethical. So y'all are going to be okay with it. And I advise you to do better for the citizens and step up and show them that we are for them. And with also, because I have the time, with it being the citizens coming up here, and even the commissioners have stated that this was needed 20 plus years ago. It's taken an election year for this to come to our attention, and this is sad. And I would like for you to keep in mind your citizens with every vote, every year, every decision that is made, not just when it benefits y'all. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Tim Powell.
Good afternoon, commissioners and chairman. My name's Tim Powell. I live in Bullitt County. Today, y'all are set to revote on paving of Banks Creek Church Road and Ponderosa Road. Ponderosa between Highway 25 and Old Dill Road. And I think that's great. I've sat in this room and listened online to many citizens who live on these roads over the last few years plead with this and other sets of commissioners asking for this to happen. I do want to point out that some of these people were here again on March 3rd asking for this. And Mr. Chairman, you promised at that time to move along with the process as quickly as possible. Then at the last meeting, y'all voted to put the road on the paving list. Mr. Simmons gave a historical account stating the road was put on the list at least 10 years before he was elected, which he was elected 32. He stated in the last meeting he's been on the board for 32 years. So that means that this thing's been on the list for 42 years. Now, I don't know where the ball got dropped, but somebody needs to kind of follow up when something gets on the list. Now, I'm sure, unfortunately, there are people that asked for that road to be paved 42 years ago that are no longer with us, and that's sad. So, the road now you have voted them to be placed on the list. You will be voting for them to be placed on the list again, and I would encourage you to. I don't know who's going to make the motion or how you were going to make it. If you're going to make it like you did last time, but what I would do is I would say we want this to go to the top of the list, not above the things that are already in construction, but the top of the list of the ones that have handed in petitions and things like that. Because 42 years, you ought to be at the top of the list, okay? After all, on March 17th, the rec department asked for hundreds of thousands of dollars from T-Splost, which is the same bucket of money this will be coming out of, to pave a walking trail and an unneeded parking lot at Fletcher Park. I say unneeded because there is already a 95 space parking lot at Fletcher Park that nobody uses. We should change the name from Fletcher Park to Fletcher Parking Lot. Anyway, the point is this. Anytime a department head or administrator in Bullock government wants to spend T-Splosh money, it is approved without discussion. The Fletcher Park paving project looks like it will be finished this week, approximately 50 days from when you approved it. If it takes 2 more years to work on the Banks Creek Ponderosa Road project to get it started, that will be 16,060 days, which is 16,010 days more than it took to pave or to get Fletcher Park unneeded parking lot paved. And while we're on the subject of paving at Fletcher Park, there's a walking trail got paved out there too. And guys, I'll tell you what, more power to people that want to walk around in a circle. Walking around a circle ain't transportation. T-Splosh is for transportation. Transportation gets you from point A to point B, not back from point A to point A. It's just not right. I mean, I know we'd have to pay for it some other way if we wanted to do it. But T-Splosh is not just a bucket of money to be ignored and say, oh, well, there's people coming into the county helping us pay that. It still comes out of our pocket. And it should be protected and treated with respect. It's money, not thrown away on parking lots that aren't needed. So while I'm talking about Fletcher Park, I went out there after y'all approved it, and they were knocking down old growth pine timber on a place that is in the GLCP conservation land thing with, let me just say this. This thing was approved by the General Assembly and Sonny Perdue as property has been permanently protected through the Georgia Land Conservation Program, and we're out there knocking down the trees, and that's not right.
I'm gonna say this here. Now, Mr. Johnson, you came up here talking about you have no idea how long I've been working on this road. Only reason you came up here and said that you no more care about this road than anything else in the world. I've been working on this road ever since I've been a commissioner. I'm only one person up here. Mr. Mosley is only the second person up here. I can't get out there and make the rest of these commissioners put this road on the paving list. Now, yes, I mentioned my father-in-law. I mentioned my wife. And it's been on the paving list for years. Only reason you came up here and said that is because you running. You don't care about that. You just trying to make something out of nothing. That's all that is. You trying to tell them that you care more about, you don't, come on, man. Don't come up here with that. You can't tell me you care more about paving Ponderosa than I do. Ain't no way. Talking about, cause I'm running, listen, I'm running for Bullock County. I'll run for anybody who wants their road paved, I'll fight for. Now you can't tell, I can tell you about Deacons and the stuff that I've done trying to get Ponderosa paved. You have no idea the history behind it. No idea. And I ain't gonna let you come up here and throw my name around, talking about what I done did, what I have not done. And there ain't no way. It'll never happen.
All right, at this time, let's move on to consent agenda. Item number one, approve the minutes from Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. Number two, approve roof repairs at the Bullock County Correctional Institute to be performed by professional roofing services in the amount of $26,953. Number four, approve Splash in the Borough Water Park 2026 concessions agreement with Blue Mile Pizza LLC, doing business as Tarantino's Grill. Number six, approve an interlocal participation agreement with Purchasing Cooperative of America, National Purchasing Cooperative. We've already talked about the items that we're going to move to new business. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
I have a second.
Second.
Got a motion from Mr. Davis and a second from Mr. Mosley. All in favor? Motion carried unanimously. Next up, we got in new business, we're going to approve a contract for agenda and meeting management and next request open records request management software from Civic Plus in the amount of $55,734.50.
In 2025, Granicus sent out that they were ending the life of our current agenda and minute software, Minute Track. So I started researching for another product to use for our agenda and minute software. They did have one that I thought would be a good fit. We started implementing that in October. Have not been able to get that up. So at the same time I was researching Granicus, I also researched Civic Plus, and they have a comparable product to what we're using now. To offset the implementation fee, Civic Plus has waived their implementation fee. They're giving us 2 additional months in a 12-month contract to cover our transition from Granicus. So we're getting 14 months of service for the price of 12. They've also given us, because we use them for MutiCode and our ordinances, we're doing bundling where we're getting a 25% discount. The savings for it is about roughly $15,944. But on top of the waiving of the implementation fee and the bundle savings, we're getting next request, which is an open records request component, which we don't get with Granicus. That would have been an additional maybe $18,000 with Granicus to add the open records request, which I was going to be looking into a couple years after implementing their software. So Civic Plus is giving us 14 months. We're also getting open records requests. We're getting discounts for bundling because we already use them for a couple other services. And I kind of felt like it was a good trade-off with Granicus. And like I said, that transition hasn't been going well. They're outsourcing their implementation to Brazil. So that's been a challenge there. So that's why I've decided to switch to Civic Plus.
Questions or comments? My only comment is to Mr. Akins, and that is, do we need to do some kind of a bid or anything on this before we go?
I don't think so. How much is it?
The new cost is 55, and I think with Granicus we did not do a bid. We did look at the contract, and with it, we're in the time limit to terminate that 1-year contract with them. But
It may qualify as a sole source if there's a limited number of vendors that can provide it. And I'd have to defer to Venus on that because I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I did treat Granicus as a sole source because we were with them last year as far as providing that agenda minute software. So I would assume this would be treated the same.
Sure. Questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion on this item. Got a motion to approve from Mr. Mosley and a second from Mr. Simmons. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to number 5, approve a grant application for Bullitt County to receive FY 2026 Georgia Department of Transportation Local Maintenance and Improvement Grant Local Road Assistance Administration Funds in the amount of $2,249,153.63, requiring no local matching funds. You're already there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ron Nelson, Engineering Office. Commissioners, good evening. Little background on this. So on March 20th, 2026, the Georgia Department of Transportation announced that the governor and the legislature included Local Road Assistance Administration Funds, or LRA, in the amended fiscal year 2026 budget. The LRA funds will be administered and distributed using the GDOT Grants LMIG application system. Eligible activities, projects for LRA funds will be the same as the LMIG program. LRA funds require no local match. Bullitt County's FY 26 LRA formula amount is $2,249,153.62. And in the application here, we are proposing to allocate the majority of these funds for professional services to establish and support a paved road asset management program, bridge structure asset management program, project management and construction engineering inspection services. Additionally, Bullitt County and our office has reserved a portion of these funds to support improvements to the new Bullitt County Fire Station number 16 along State Route 67, involving the design, engineering, and construction of a new right turn deceleration lane along State Route 67 southbound and a new commercial driveway. These funds will be allocated throughout the course of fiscal year 27. That's the current plan. And then also through fiscal year 28. Any questions?
That summed everything up. I just wanted a good explanation. I just didn't want to approve a $2.2 million deal in the consent agenda. So I appreciate explaining everything to that.
Absolutely, yes, sir. Thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Any discussion on this item?
This is a grant with no match funds.
Zero matching funds, that is correct, yes, sir.
Any other discussion on this item? Hearing none, I'm gonna call for, all in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, this takes us to the rest of our new business. Item number 1 on here, approve a motion to rescind action previously taken in regard to paving of Bakes Creek Church Road and Ponderosa Road, and to add to the paving list that segment of Banks Creek Church Road from Rocky Ford Road to Ponderosa, and that segment of Ponderosa Road from Highway 25 to Old Dill Road. Before I do that, gentlemen, I'm gonna ask y'all.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say something before I recuse myself. It's never a wrong time to do the right thing. As Mr. Johnson say, I try to each and every day. Yes, I've made a rookie mistake of putting the motion on the floor because I've been passionate for a number of years in pushing this forward. Actually, before I moved to that community, so I did it. I own up to it and share with the citizens. Look, I feel like I dropped the ball there, but at the end of the day, I'm always willing to do the right thing. With that being said, I will take my seat down here for the motion.
I recuse myself too.
So before we go on any further with this, I'll just make this real simple. As the chairman, I take responsibility for what goes on up here. we messed up. I messed up. And in order to do that and to make this right, we're going to rescind what we did at our last meeting and then put it on the floor as another motion because we want to make sure that this road gets paved. It's that simple. So we want to do the right thing. Just give us the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. And this also clarifies, Mr. Chairman, that because it's actually just two specific segments of these two roads. And I think the action taken at the last meeting basically just stated would have led you to believe it was the whole road in each case, and that's not. So that's the purpose tonight, is to clarify that too.
So with that being said, is there any other discussion on this item? No discussion. Okay. Well, I call for a motion on this item.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Thank y'all. Next item on the agenda, approve the purchase of 2 case tractors with bat wings from Tidewater in the amount of $292,600. Mr. Mitch Johnson, you're at bat.
Back again. I'm here to ask to get request for approval for 2 case tractors and 2 woods mowers for our roadside mowing contract that we do. Our old 2 mowers that we have and the 2 tractors we have are completely wiped. Matter of fact, one of them's down now. Been down for about a month or 2. And this was all done on a source well, and we're gonna trade in the 2 used tractors. We will be keeping the 2 mowers for backup. We have redone both of them, so we're going to keep them for backup. One of them's they're working on now, and I'm just asking to purchase these 2 for $292,600 from Tidewater.
How many crews will that, or mowing crews will that give us whenever we do this?
The same amount.
So it's just be just
It's
2 of them, or is it just?
Yes, just 2 tractors. Well, we have 3. One with the old tractor that we been using for years, and then these are just replacing the other 2 that give us so much trouble.
And you're trading those 2 in, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you're getting some money back for them?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know how much it is that you're getting in trade?
25 for one and 20 for the other.
And you're going to a larger tractor?
A larger tractor, heavier duty tractor, and heavy duty mowers.
Okay. Now, what about the mower maxes? Is this going to put those out of service as well?
No, sir. Leave me mention that. I got a call today. The 2 boom axes that was ordered when Mr. Dinkman will be here next week. They're supposed to let me know what day. As soon as they get here, we get them all situated and everybody good with them. Then we'll put them to use.
Any other questions or comments on this item?
Is this coming from already budgeted money, or
Yes,
is
sir,
this
already
extra, already
budgeted
budgeted money for
from
this?
this
Okay.
year, yes, sir.
All right, appreciate it.
Mr. Davis?
Mr. Mitch,
Yes, sir.
if I done my math right, we renting one for, if we'd have rented these tractors, they costing us $48 for one of them and $59 an hour. You can't rent them for that. And the warranty on them is important because of what it takes to get them fixed nowadays.
Yes, sir.
And I'd like to make a motion that we go ahead and buy 2 more red tractors.
Well, too, with that, Mitch, that the person that brought this deal to Mitch's attention, is a citizen of this county, works, and where we're buying them from is right here in this county. So, we like to see money stay in house, and this individual found us a deal, and we had to get him from Louisiana.
Yeah, he
Is
brought
that
me
right?
from Louisiana. Yes.
But we saved what? Give me $40,000 because he told me the other day that was the range of those same tractors all over the state. So just by bringing them from Louisiana. So I won't bring his name out, but
Yeah,
we
he
appreciate
did
all
do
his
it.
help.
He done us a good job. He sure did.
So we have a motion on the floor to buy 2 more of them. Were you saying that in jest, or were you? Okay. So again, there's a motion on the floor to purchase an additional 2 of these. All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about buying 2 more in addition to those right now.
Let's get 2 down here first. I don't know if I can find 2 more like, or we can find 2 more like that. Those are hard enough to find.
So we have a motion and we have a second. So all in favor of buying 2 more of these tractors at the same price, signify by raising your hand. Okay. So the motion dies on the floor. So, not hearing that, back to the original proposal here. Are we gonna buy these tractors? That's okay. I got a motion from Mr. Connor to purchase these 2. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, got a second from Mr. Mosley. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
If we can find 2 more of that deal, like, that'd be great, but I don't know if they're out there. I really don't think they're out there.
We need to get the tractor guru on that. All right. Mr. County Manager, do you have anything for us at this time?
Well,
Oh, I do have, I'm sorry, y'all. Mr. Jeff Akins, approve an amendment to the interlocal cooperation agreement for the Statesboro Bullock County Land Bank Authority.
yes, sir. This is to amend an agreement that was adopted in December of 2002, in which Statesboro and Bullock County entered into an interlocal cooperation agreement to establish the Statesboro Bullock County Land Bank Authority. And the primary purpose of the authority, and it was mainly Statesboro, that really only Statesboro that was using it to acquire and rehabilitate tax delinquent properties in the city of Statesboro. And in 2012, the Georgia Code was amended to expand the powers to land bank authorities and to allow authorities already in existence to amend their agreements to utilize the expanded powers. The city's requested approval of the presented amendment to the agreement to state that the authority shall have all powers conferred to land bank authorities as contained in Article 4 of Title 48 of the Georgia Code. And actually, this was on an agenda to be approved in 2024, and Statesboro actually did approve it, and for some reason, and I can't determine why, it was taken off our agenda and was not actually approved then. So that may have been an inadvertent mistake. I don't know. I don't know why it was done. But this is sort of cleaning that up in a sense. So that I would recommend. They're ready to get more active with it, so they need this, and I would recommend that you approve it.
Any questions or discussion on this item? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion. Second. I got a motion from Mr. Mosley and a second from Mr. Simmons. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. All right, now we're at commission and staff comments.
Yes, sir. Just want to follow up with the commission. We've had issues with our claims contract with Cigna. We have gotten a good proposal from Anthem, which is Blue Cross Blue Shield, and would like to pursue changing. It's called your TPA. I don't even know what it stands for, but we're self-insured, but we work through a provider and use their contracts to get their rates and their discounts. So just want to let the commission know we're pursuing that. We'll have a contract back to you, but just want to let you know we are working on it in case there's any big upheaval. But as you realize, Cigna no longer has contracts with East Georgia, and evidently is in it with Memorial and Savannah as well. So just want to give you an update. I think it will make employees happy to hear that we'll have them in network. We did look. Anthem's contracts run. I think they got a year and a half, 2 years with East Georgia, and maybe 3 years with Savannah or vice versa. So we've got a runway, and it should help. And we actually came in with better rates. It's really an admin cost that they pass on to us. And we should have some better options on the pharmaceutical side too. So just let you know that's going on. It's no fun for employees to switch, but I think in this instance they'll be happy.
How about from the staff? Any comments? Nobody wants to talk tonight. Okay. Commissioners, y'all got anything you want to put out?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to apologize to the Board of Commissioners and to the citizens for my outbursts, but I'm passionate about some things when I hear things that are not true of me, and I won't say that will not happen again, but I do apologize for tonight.
I'll just kick you under the table next time. Any other comments from the commissioners? All right, I got a grocery list, so everybody hang on. First one, homestead exemptions. If you live in your property, you are likely eligible, and you own that property, you are likely eligible for a homestead exemption, okay? If you've already gotten one, it stays in place as long as you own that piece of property. If you do not have your property in a homestead exemption, now is the time to put it in a homestead exemption. You have between now and the first week of July to get that done. You can go over to the tax assessor's office right over there, and they will be more than happy to help you fill out the paperwork to get that started. Why is that important? So the state does give you $2,000 off your tax assessment. So if your assessed value of your property is $200,000, they're going to say that the appraised value of your property is now $198,000. The bigger impact of that, though, is if you put your property into a homestead exemption this year, whatever the assessed value was for 2025 becomes the permanent assessed value for that property. The only way that assessed value will go up by state law is if the consumer price index goes up. So I will tell you that if you put your property into a homestead exemption last year or any time before that, your assessed value is based off of your 2024 assessed value and will only go up based off of what the consumer price index. For this year, it was 2.7%. So even if they reassess, or the assessor's office reassesses the value of your property and it goes to a higher rate, you will be taxed off of that homestead or the floating homestead exemption rate. It's very important. This is a good break for consumers, and it helps to protect them from those inflationary increases in property taxes. Early voting, as of this afternoon at about 4:50, there had been 1,284 people that had voted. The last day to vote in early voting is 15 May 2026. Election day is the 19th of May 2026. Why is this important? It's real simple. People talk about the governor, the senator races, and things like that. The people that impact your lives and decide where your property taxes are spent sit right up here. And you see them every day, and you can reach out and touch them. There's several races locally that are taking place in addition to the ones that everybody's talking about, the governor, the secretary of state, lieutenant governor, things like that. I encourage you to get out and exercise your right to vote. Just want to remind everybody that there is both a statewide burn ban and a local burn ban that has been put in place. Been getting some reports here lately of not just it's not folks lighting fires in their backyard and burning trash. What I've been hearing lately is people lighting fireworks. We're getting that time of the year when people want to shoot fireworks off. Y'all, fireworks will start fires too. Right now, we effectively live in a tinderbox. Please, 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 if it has a spark and you don't need to do it, please don't do it. I have a neighbor that asked me yesterday, had a tree fall on his property, asked me if I'd come cut it up. I said I'd be more than happy to once we get some more rain. I do not want to take a chance having a chainsaw throw a spark and start a fire. So please be careful with that. We don't want to have to deal with what's going on in Eccles and Brantley County right now. We will be having a budget workshop on the 19th of May, immediately after our morning meeting. Next week, next Tuesday at 6 o'clock in this room right here, we'll be having a town hall meeting. It's going to be a drop-in style meeting like what we did in Portal. We will have representatives from all the various departments here. May even have a couple constitutional officers here. So you can come in and talk to them individually. You don't have to worry about getting in front of a microphone and talking to folks for people that have an aversion to that. We want to give you an opportunity to have as much contact and FaceTime, not just with your elected officials, but with the department heads and their staff as we possibly can during that time. This is supposed to run from 6 to 8, but I will tell you that if there's folks here that want to stay longer and talk, I'll stay and talk to you till you leave. So, and I got keys to the building and I know how to cut off the lights. So, and then the last thing that I want to do is I just want to thank our tax assessors and our tax commissioner's office. As many of y'all know, Aspen Aerogels decided February of last year that they were going to close up shop and leave here. They have paid back all the money that they borrowed from the state and any kind of local incentives they have. But the one issue that they still had was they had never paid taxes on their personal property. So basically the equipment and things that they had inside the building. And about 3.5, 4 months ago, our tax assessor's office and our tax commissioner went out to the Aspen Aerogel site and another site here in the county where they were storing equipment, and they assessed the value of all that personal property. And they've been sending out tax bills and collection notices to Aspen Aerogels to make sure that they recoup those tax dollars back into the county. So last week, in 2 separate payments, they recovered $2,376,000 in your tax dollars that was unpaid from Aspen Aerogels. So they're not just the people that, well, first of all, they don't arbitrarily put a value on your house. There's a state law that says how they go about doing it. But they also work to make sure that everybody's paying their taxes and paying their fair share. So I want to thank them for doing that. Last thing I'll tell y'all or mention, we're in election season. Everything gets fun in election season. I've sat out there in the audience during election season, and now I'm sitting up here. And I can tell you that I know one perfect person that's walked this earth. Everybody up here is messed up. I mess up every meeting I come up here. They give me an agenda with every item listed on it, and I still mess it up every meeting. Sometimes I make mistakes. Everybody up here makes mistakes. And I guarantee that if we go and look in the mirror, we'll probably see that other people do too. The only thing that I ask you is that you give each other some grace as you go through these things. We're going to make a choice about who's going to sit up here and make those decisions. And I've told people this before, and I'll say it publicly. You get the local government that you deserve. I've told people before this too. If you don't like your local government, you have the option of giving them a performance review every 4 years. By all means, go and do that. This ain't the place for the personal attacks, the campaigning. You know, you're entitled to an opinion. And you get up there at that microphone, I'm going to let you say whatever you want till you get to the point where you start to cuss or personally attack somebody. And I'll be the first to admit it. I've stood in the back of that room and completely showed my ass. I probably should have been put in jail one night for things that I did in the back of that room. Don't be that guy. Be better than me. We live in a country where we are fortunate that we select our government and we transition our government peacefully and without any kind of violence and carrying on. Let's not bring it in here. With that being said, I think that's enough for tonight. So, need a motion to conclude this meeting. Got a motion from Mr. Mosley and a second from Mr. Simmons. All in favor? Motion carried unanimously, and we are concluded at 7:39.